All right. What up, y'all? We're here, episode 6, Iron Age Radio. We are continuing our cavalcade of celebrity interviews, just monster star after monster star here. We had Sam Beliveau last week, and we have future strongest man on earth competitor, Josh Spurgeon, on the show today. He joined us and had a nice little chat with us. It was very appreciated. Josh is going to be one of those guys where if you're not familiar with his name now, like think Lucas Hatton last year, where he's going to be a guy who's going to be just all over the place very soon. Strongest man on earth is going to be a big stepping stone for him, but I wouldn't be entirely shocked to see him at a Giants Live next year or maybe something bigger. So listen up. He talks about OSG. He talks about Shaw. He talks about his own training. There's the Louisiana strongman scene, all that stuff. Really, really enjoyed it. One of Gian's many best friends in strongman. One of your many BFFs in strongman. Gian's just like the strongman whisperer. Like he just have a way of being friends with everybody, I think.
Well, because I like feeding people.
You feeding Josh?
Well, like whenever I'm around you guys, I can't finish my meal, so I just give them away to everybody.
That's how you make friends.
That's a good way to make friends.
It is a good way to make friends. All right, here's the interview, guys. Listen up, enjoy. All right, so here we are, episode 6 of Iron Age Radio with our second guest in 2 weeks. We had Sam Beliveau on this week, and this year we had to get somebody just as incredible. So we went ahead and we got the man who he podiumed at the 2023 Arnold Amateur Show. 2023 or 24? 24.
This
year, Arnold Amateur. And even more impressive than that, he won the Shaw Classic Open Division for the men's, thereby securing his spot next year at the 2025 Strongest Man on Earth. He's one of the new faces on the international scene of strongman, but he's somebody that you're going to know very, very well in a very short period of time. Josh Spurgeon.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you.
So good to have you here, man. We really appreciate you taking the time off to speak to us. We know that you're getting ready for OSG right now, which is like another show that I'm sure you're looking to have like a very big impact at right now. Very similar to the way that you did at the Shaw. How's training been going for that one for you?
Honestly, it was pretty steady. Probably 2-3 months ago, it was pretty steady. Right after Shaw, came down a little bit, just getting hypertrophy work in. But the last month, things have really picked up. Like the last month, and then going into 2 weeks from now, it's like everything just started clicking. There's some things I can't really train to comp standard just because of the workout and environment that I have. But like everything feels good and all my weaknesses are getting a little bit better. So as long as I can, mitigate on some of my quote unquote bad events, then I should be good.
What's something that you're working on that might be one of your weaknesses that you're trying to kind of bring up to everything else?
Just sandbag toss, really.
I was the scourge of all fat guys.
Yeah, I was worried about overhead press, but that like just picked up out of nowhere.
Yeah, we saw 400 recently from you.
Yeah. So two weeks ago, I think that was the end of one of my blocks. I had a single before some reps, and he had me work up to 405. And then now in a couple of weeks, I should be doing it for doubles at it for a couple working sets, hopefully.
Amazing. That's huge growth in a short period of time, man.
Yeah, I mean the most I pressed before that, like block, was probably 360, I think, or 365. Sick. And it was just out of a rack, I think. So
do you feel like the pressure of now that you're locked in for strongest man on earth now next year, do you feel like you're kind of like accelerated a little bit in like what you're doing? Like you feel like it's like I have to catch up to these guys now? Like these numbers that I've had before just aren't good enough anymore?
Yes and no. I think my personal numbers aren't as good. Like compared to myself to like Shaw, like I want to be better than I was at Shaw. I kind of fixed my mentality and after OSG or after Shaw 20 and 2023, I kind of fixed my mentality going into OSG 2024. And
I don't know
just reminded me Donald Trump just fixing the mic, but no, you're good.
Gian's working hard over here.
I fixed my attitude and mentality. Like I was focusing on all the wrong things. I was focusing on other people, what they were doing, and ultimately, like you can only be as good as you can. You can only do as good in the event as you can, and then you're gonna fall wherever you fall in place. So I'm not really like, I'm not thinking about like Mitchell Hooper or any of these big name guys. I'm really just thinking about OSG performing well. But at the same time, I don't have the pressure as everybody else to secure a spot at one of the big shows next year. So
Sure.
that's like a little bit of relief, but at the same time, like I still want to go to the other shows, so I need to do well at OSG. I can't
Right.
just bank on doing well at SMO next August, and it could get injured or something. You never know what happens.
For sure. Yeah, that's I mean that's kind of I guess that's kind of the thing with having like one big thing on the horizon. You want to kind of diversify a little bit so you have more options should
Exactly.
something happen, God forbid or whatever, right? So talking a little bit about the Shaw. Um, so let's I mean this is like a weird question to ask now that it went so well, but did you honestly see yourself going into that day being like I'm going to be standing on top of the podium, I'm going to win this show? Is that something you even kind of like think about when you go into a show like that, or was it how does that work for
If
you?
you want to be honest, no, I didn't think I could win. It's kind of cliche, but one of those things you think about is like you think about like, you want to envision yourself at the show performing well. Whether it's think about it before bed, think about while you're training, you just kind of want to think about like standing on the podium, pulling a deadlift, hitting circus dumbbell, like just thinking about the show and performing well as you're training or just in general, and you kind of like think yourself into it. So like I did have those thoughts leading into the show. Did I think that they were going to be a reality? No. Like
Right.
so I thought that I would do well, but I didn't truly believe that I would do well.
So you were fucking psyched then.
Yeah, I mean I didn't even know really like that I won after the Stone series.
Really?
Like I didn't know because other people finished the Stones. I didn't know how many points I was ahead of Nick, and I didn't really realize that, once I beat Nick on Stones that I won. Because I tried not to look at the points and stuff. Like because
Right.
at Shaw last year I looked at the points and I was so focused on the points like I forgot to like compete. And then OSG I competed and then looked at the points like end of the day, stuff like that.
Right. Well, we were watching it here. Like we always have little kind of watch parties for the big shows at my gym here. And it's always all the more fun when there's someone that we know who's competing, and it's even more fun when someone that we know is actually doing well. Like,
Right.
fucking Jeffers really screwed the pooch that day, so we weren't watching Jeffers. That's for goddamn sure.
We
But we,
pretended not to know him.
yeah, we had a lot of fun watching Josh Spurgeon that day. I'll tell you that right now.
The
Um,
honorary Canadian.
That's right. Yeah, no, actually, for doing this show, you kind of enter into the realm of Western Canadian strongman the same way that say like a Lucas Hatton has or whoever. So we really appreciate that. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, we met you at the Arnold's in the airport
In
Yes.
um,
Atlanta, even.
in Atlanta. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. We had a very shitty flight to get to the Arnold's.
That sounds terrible.
So we saw you there, and you walked over, and you were like, "Hey, you guys are what do you say?"
But he said he came up to us. You guys are big as shit. Are you guys going to the Arnold's?
Yeah. And then we ended up just hanging out with you and talk because actually you were letting us know that we were in the wrong area, which was very helpful. So
Yeah.
we appreciate that. But we just ended up getting along with you pretty well, and it was easy enough to just kind of hang out with you and talk to you the whole time. And it was uh, it was nice to see that like sort of the friendly Canadian style of strongman isn't like completely lost in the States there too. Like you seem to get along with pretty much everybody that you're around, it seems like.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I even had someone, I mean, I'm a nice guy, but I can be mean if I want to. It just depends who you are, it depends what you do to me, respect's earned,
Sure.
not given. So it's one of those things where uh dude, who was it? It was somebody at Shaw this year was talking to me and he made finals and I think his name is Nick. I can't remember his last name though. And he's like, dude, I thought you were totally gonna be a dick or an asshole. He's like, you're actually pretty nice. And I'm like, what the heck? I was like, I've never had that like reputation of being a mean person or something. But I was like, damn, what do people say
You
about me?
probably you probably ran into somebody on just a day where you just weren't all smiles or whatever, and they were like, "Oh, that guy's kind of a prick," and then he went and told this other fucking guy, and then whatever. Because
I think he
yeah, that's
said
definitely not
something
my experience.
about me posting something on Instagram or something, and I think he just didn't know it was like sarcastic. I think it was
Goddamn
something like
Instagram,
that.
it gets us all in trouble, man.
But
Trust me. Yeah, because we at the Arnold, I met you and Brian Kitchen, and you guys were both like the nicest guys that I could hope to meet there. And then we had Brian back up here for the Magnus show this year, and
yeah,
now we're talking to you now. So we get to remain friends with everybody in strongman. It's just a beautiful thing. Um, so this camera that we have is not working very well. You live in Louisiana, New Orleans, is that correct?
yes,
Okay.
yep, that's correct.
What what can you tell me about the strongman scene in New Orleans or like Louisiana as a whole? What's it like down there right now for you?
Um, so I'm really from Ohio, and I moved down here
Right.
last year, so I haven't been here in 23. So I haven't been here, maybe about a year and a half. I've been here now. When I first moved down here, there wasn't much. I was actually driving. I was lifting at just a local gym. Um, the gym selection was very slim to none. I just chose a place that had a little bit of outdoors, had a yoke and a couple things, had a little bit of stones. But I had a couple things. I had farmers and log, and now I've spent way too much money and invested quite a bit. And a lot of
It's
the
easy
stuff
to
in the
do.
gym is mine now. But I was traveling actually an hour and a half every Saturday. Like after Shaw, I was like, okay, I need to train the events. And I was traveling every Saturday. Actually, no, for Shaw in 23, I was traveling every Saturday. And then for OSG, I was traveling every Friday and Saturday, hour and a half north to Baton Rouge just to train, the events that I needed that I couldn't afford to like buy the implement at the time.
Hmm.
So there wasn't too much in New Orleans per se. So I was driving up to Baton Rouge, which is the capital, and there's a pretty decent strongman gym there called Atlas Strength Shop, but they were just too far for me. I mean, driving. I mean, that was my whole Saturdays and stuff. So
Yeah.
once my girlfriend, now fiance, got out of, we got engaged by the way. So
Oh, hey,
double
congratulations. That's
thank
fantastic.
you.
Congratulations.
But
Yes.
so thank you. So once she got out of residency, we made a little bit more money. I started investing more, and got some of my time back. And it's some of those athletes moved to New Orleans from Baton Rouge, so they've kind of trickled in. Some people at the gym kind of dabble in it, do some local shows, but there's really not a huge community here per se. I'm mostly trained by myself. I see a couple guys in passing at the gym that I talk to and say, "Hey, what's up?" But I don't have a training partner, things like that. Sometimes people work in with me here and there, but I'm really kind of on my own when it comes to training.
So, okay, well, let's kind of go with that a little bit then. Do you feel like is that a positive or a negative to you, or is it just the way it is? Like, is there anything that you would change about that?
If I could, I would want selfishly, like this is the most selfish way to go about it. I would want someone, and this is like a slim to none, almost impossible scenario. I would want someone almost or just as strong as me, if not stronger, like just within working,
Slim to
weight.
none impossible scenario, he says. There's no one in this
No,
world who could be stronger than
no,
Josh
that's
Spurgeon, boy, I'll
not what
tell
I'm
you.
saying. I'm saying in New Orleans, at the gym that I'm at currently, if some magical person could just appear and show up exactly when I show up and do the exact same thing to the T that I do, it would
Right,
push me harder and you would get
right.
better faster. It's like Austin and Nick in San Antonio. They're like,
Hmm.
one's good at static, and they're both good at everything, but one's better at static and one's better at moving events, and they push each other equally, and they're
Right.
getting really, really good and improving really fast.
Yeah, it can be tough when when it's, that it's just you, no one really pushing you in either direction. You know what I mean? Like, you have to really find that and I can tell just from trying to book this schedule, like, or sorry, schedule this meeting with you here. You're a busy guy. Like, you have a lot going on, and I imagine that training schedule is a little wild for you too, especially with how much you have to be doing with all the strongman stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like it just between recovery and working, like I work longer days Monday through Thursday, but I get off earlier on Friday. But Friday is like my off day from the gym. I train Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday typically. And so Monday through Thursday, absolutely slammed. Like I wake up, I go to work, I go to the gym, I go to bed. That's about it. Wednesday I do recovery. I go and get physical therapy. So I come home, make some meals, go to bed, basically.
Right.
So I get a little
So
bit of time
that's
on the weekend.
That's nice. At least you can kind of like have a little bit of you time with you and the fiance now.
Yep.
Um, so we had a couple questions here that I wanted to get to from some of our valued listeners, and I suspect that you probably know some of these people who are asking these questions because I don't know them, but they're very specific. So let's start with a real one, and I'm kind of laughing here because I know the answer to this question. You and I have talked about it before, but Josh Burgeon, how hard is it for you to maintain your size?
Uh, in a very humble way, not really that hard. I probably don't eat as much as I should. Um, I think, Monday through Friday, I eat pretty clean per se, probably like 90% clean. I slack a little bit on the weekends, but I don't know what it is. I've always been a bigger kid. I've always gained weight easily. It's hard for me to lose weight per se. I have to eat more to lose weight. It's weird.
What did you weigh at the Shaw?
Probably like 370-ish, 375, somewhere in
And that
there.
was like, I mean, obviously you did well, but did you like feel like that was like an optimal sort of position, like weight for you to be at there? Like, is that where you like kind of like to be?
It doesn't bother me. I would say if I could be a little lighter, a little fitter, I would probably do a lot better, honestly, on some of the moving events. Like, not that I did bad on them per se,
Right,
but just being healthier, like physique or like muscle conditioning wise,
right.
can't be worse. Like, I'm probably 35% body fat. If I was like 25, that would probably be more beneficial.
Keep the old lady happy too.
Just what'd you say?
It's to keep the old lady happy too.
She don't mind. I met her when I was like 270, and then I was like 400.
Really?
So, oh yeah, so she's seen it all.
Wow.
I had
She's
long
that's
hair. I was
I,
270. I
I saw
was
that picture. Yeah, that was a good picture.
Yeah,
Uh, that's a good lady right there. That's
very
so
loyal.
yeah, obviously. Actually, what you kind of touched on there, something that I want to discuss with you too. Were you getting fucked up by the altitude in Colorado? Did that bother you at all?
Surprisingly, not really. The only event I was super super gassed after was power stairs, and I
Right,
think it's just I did it so quickly. I never did it that fast training.
right. Because there was a few guys that I was watching, and like guys that I have on social media and stuff, and you know, not everyone shows everything they're doing. I know that, but you
Yeah.
were showing a lot of conditioning work. You were hitting that bike a lot, that echo bike that you had. You were really staying on it and making sure that even though you are a big, heavy guy, I think that people might have been surprised at like how good your conditioning was for that show. And a lot
A
of guys
lot
that I
of
wasn't seeing that kind of stuff from, they were gassed. Like they were having a hard time with the log and stuff, even.
I think going in 2023 helped a lot experience wise, just of how the show was it was ran similar, but not the same.
Right.
And the same thing, it was just kind of just an extra day, really, and a couple more events. But I knew your conditioning had to be on point. I knew there was like I already know I'm strong. I'm capable of completing the events. It's just about how fast and work capacity. So I really I made an irresponsible purchase and bought a Rogue Naked bike, but it turned out to be a great investment, obviously. And I
Yeah.
hit it. I was doing sprints at first to kind of just get up to pace with just maxing out like just maxing out sprinting for 60 seconds, type of thing. Like I was just doing rounds of 10 calories, 10 rounds, take a quick break, go back to it. But then towards when I got closer to the show, I was, all the weights are heavier. So I took out the sprinting and focused more on like biking consistently, like for 25 to 30 minutes without like stopping. And
Right.
that helped a lot, kind of, I think, recovery between events and after each day.
Sure. Well, that's for anybody who's listening who people like to fall back on. Well, I'm a big fat strong man, so I don't have to do any conditioning stuff. This is a big fat strong man right here, and he's doing his conditioning, and he fucking won the show. So keep up with that shit.
Definitely overweight.
Okay, I have to say, there was one time I messaged Josh and I was just curious. I was like, hey, how tall are you? And he said 6 feet tall and 6 feet around. And I said, okay, well, whatever. Never mind then.
Yeah, Josh and Gianna have like a funny friendship online. You and many of the strong men have just like you're better friends with them than I am for some reason. Um, all right, okay, we got another one here. This is a little controversy. We got to turn up the heat a little bit on this one here.
Oh Lord.
Sent by James Jeffers? Who will pull 1,000 pounds first, Josh or Jeffers? And I love that he calls himself Jeffers too. Like he doesn't call himself James.
I
But
believe
serious question, who's got it?
I believe I would be more capable of pulling it first, but I think the train will pull it first because I won't max out after OSG, but he's already looking forward to it. Swear to God, he's looking forward more to maxing deadlift after OSG than going to the show.
Who's got that new little suit of his that he's very excited to fire up and pull a grand with. So I mean I think that he could probably do it, and
I
I
think
think
so
both you guys
too.
could do it.
I
Yeah, it was
think I could pull it like if I did like a short little prep for I probably could pull it. But I
yeah,
also think like this is the whole thing with like my log blowing up. I never maxed log
right,
until like this past month in the past 3 years because I never had it in a show. So
right,
it's just like I've had max deadlifts, but there's never been a max for me per se. So I've or never been pushed to my absolute max on a deadlift event. So I just haven't had to really pull anything, super crazy or
right.
effort
And
wise, at least, I should say.
yeah, and that's the thing too, is that when we're talking about 400-pound log, when we're talking about 1,000-pound deadlift, that's not something that you can just be like, oh, I'm just gonna fuck around and see if I can get it today on a whim. You know what I mean? Like that's something that's gonna
Yeah.
fucking destroy you. Even if you get
Yep.
it, you're gonna be fucking wrecked. And it gets different when you get to those extreme weights like that. You can't just be like pulling it out of your ass like that.
No, I agree. So I think I think James will try it before I do, and I think he can pull it. That's basically my answer.
All right. Okay. Well, you heard it here first. We'll have to put. We'll run this back and see how it ages when Jeffers tries it for sure the week
Actually, real
after.
quick, I told him to fly me up, and we both pull it at his gym, and he said,
Ooh,
I think he quoted that the only other two people to ever do that was JF and Brian at Brian's gym, I think.
fuck yeah. That would be sick. That would
So
be the
I
that
don't
would.
probably won't happen, but
But how could that be any closer to that right now with the winner of the Shaw Classic? We got
yeah,
Canada's second strongest man following in JS footsteps. This would be perfect time
yeah,
to do something like that. That would be great content for your YouTube channel, Jeffers. Keep that in mind. Um,
business expense.
yes, of course. Well, it's a business expense. Exactly. You got to write that shit off. It's not for Josh to pay for. Um, what? Okay. Here's another one here. Uh, what? Okay. I'll get one of the other questions out of here. What role does your third leg play in your powerful deadlift lockouts?
Absolutely nothing. Doesn't reach a
That's
floor.
okay. Nothing is the answer. That wasn't serious. That's one of the questions I got. So I have to. I'm asking
I
now.
know, I know you typed in your own box and you asked your own question. You said it was from
I
somebody else. It's okay.
listen. I'm a journalist. I would ask you directly to your face if I wanted to know something about your penis. Okay, I would ask you directly. Um, and then the same guy actually asked a couple pretty good questions, so I'll ask those ones too. Um, what's, or sorry, who's got your attention for OSG this year? And maybe even like we talked. I don't even know how much you're involved with, like say, outside of the opens men division, but like, let's kind of open it up to anyone that you might be aware of in any division who might be worth keeping an eye on.
There's three people that I think will do really well at OSG this year, and they're across three different people from three different weight classes. I think Tommy Lavelle coming back, people who don't really like, for some reason, probably don't remember him, and I don't understand why he's only been gone for like a year, just because he got injured and then came back and he's been focusing on other stuff. So he's really hammering down in training. I think he'll perform well. And then I think he's at 80 kilogram too.
I think so.
Maybe
Yeah,
I'm almost positive he's 80 kilogram. And Alex Sukup just came off of winning at the Shaw in the 105.
105. Yeah,
So I mean, most of the 105s at the Shaw, there's probably a handful maybe that weren't there coming to OSG that'll do well as well. So I think Alec will have a really good show as long as he stays healthy. In the open men, I try not to look at everybody, but I do follow people that I like to follow and have met and competed with and stuff like that. So it just pops up like like last year. I was looking up people. And I'm like, that's the worst thing you could possibly do. Now it just
right.
kind of
I
pops up
tell
on
that
my
to my clients too.
feed. Yeah, now it just kind of pops up on my feed. I see it and cool. And I think Bryce Johnson has a really good chance to do very well at the show, honestly. Like, I don't really think he has any weaknesses on the events. It's just a matter of, and he just did North Americas too, I believe. And he did really well at North Americas. I think, I mean, what did he get like fourth, fifth?
I think something he was high up there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like top five at North Americas. I don't remember exactly, but he did really well. He competed really well. And that was a multiple day show too, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it was
Yeah,
2 days.
so the only question is that it's a 3 day show, and on the third day it's three events. But he's improved massively, trimmed down. He looks a little bit better, and he's firing all cylinders it seems. But everybody has a weakness, and whether it's mental or physical. So we'll see how everybody does.
Is a 3 day competition like have you done that before?
Yeah, Shaw's was 3 day. It
Which
was two
oh, I thought it was two.
events.
Okay, okay,
No, it was three events, two events, two events. And
right,
then,
okay,
so last year, so 23 Shaw's was 2 days. It was online and then 2 days.
right, okay. That's what I
And
meant.
then I think it was three events, then two events, so it was five. And then this year they don't. Brian hates online qualifiers, and I
Me
think that
too.
they're great for accessibility, but they're terrible for like actual quality.
Yeah, we Jesus Christ, we're trying to fix this microphone here. Just leave it. Just leave it.
Just bumping her head on the desk down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a problem that I had with OSG last year. The qualifier this year I think was a lot better, but last year it didn't really
Yeah,
prepare people for what they're going to be doing in that
no,
competition when they had things like the ruck thing, whatever. There was nothing in the qualifier that would have anybody prepared for something like that. It was all very heavy static stuff, and
yes,
I think we saw that in the guys who did the qualifier. Didn't A lot of them didn't make the finals. A lot of them didn't do very well in the
no.
standings, and just didn't really translate well. You got to stop that.
I just have to fix it and then it'll be done.
Let's give us one moment here, Josh.
You're good.
There, we're good. Thank you, Jen. All right.
Fuck's sake,
Could you,
sorry.
okay, so could you pick, let's say no particular order, but could you pick a podium right now for the men's open?
No, absolutely not. I don't think about it that much. I know certain people will do well, but until it's like the last day, and really, it's kind of the podium can be decided before the last day. Like after the
Mhm.
first 2 days, you go to the finals and top 10, there's not that much room to move the points around. Like if you look at it last year, you would have had to be top top four actually. There was such a big gap between because James was me, I was fifth, James was sixth, and we actually flipped by the last event, and he beat me out. But there was such a big gap after that that like it was impossible unless the four people ahead of us died that we
Right.
couldn't get to podium. Like it was
Right.
like they would have had to zero the events, suffocate, something crazy would have had to happen
Just hell
for
opens up
us
and
to,
swallows them up, and then you guys
yeah,
win.
like they just did so well and they were just that far ahead of everybody else. So if
Right.
you really do place like top five on all the events going into the last day, you're already, you have pretty much secured your spot as long as you execute, to the podium.
Sweet. Okay, well, let's get on to another question here we had for you. So, this one might be kind of a big question. So if it's not three things, that's fine, whatever. But this guy says, "What top three things do you attribute to your strongman success?"
It's kind of tough, honestly. I take pride in my work ethic. There's no one pushing me except for myself. There's no one like
Right.
I have, relying on me to do X, Y, Z. I mean, there's really nobody. I mean, Laz does my programming, he coaches me and helps me out mentally, and tells me what to do training wise, but I still have to execute it. I still have to show up to the gym. There's no one there waiting for me. There's no one there barking down my neck. So I think like my work ethic is one. Two is probably my determination slash like commitment. Like once I get my eyes set on something and it's like kind of attainable, like I don't like become obsessed with it per se. I mean, maybe
Sure.
to others it seems obsessive, but like to me it's like my normal. Um, but like I just, I follow down the path until, I get to a point where I can't go any farther. And then you kind of like reevaluate. Like I chased football for a lot of my life. And I got to college and played a couple of years and I was like, okay, like I'm not going any farther with this. I need to figure out my life. I need to make sacrifices, do something else and be done with it. As for the third thing, I would really say like it sounds cliche, but like I really wouldn't be able to do the things that I'm capable of without like Kaya, like my
Good
fiance,
answer.
like she no, I mean it's not like she's loading my weights or making my meals or stuff like that, but
Right.
like she is there and she is supporting me, financially, mentally, emotionally. Like she is helping me along the way. She's just kind of in the background that not a lot of people know about until they meet us in person. So I mean, I do contribute a lot of success to her from her.
Hey man, there's your partner can be like your biggest detriment or your biggest help. You know what I mean? Like they can, and it's usually one of the two. I find.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So that's great to hear. It's awesome to hear that she's. Well, Gian's got to say something about that for sure.
No,
I thought you were gonna say
I'm
something.
just sitting here trying not to cry.
Just like that one. Um, Roadhouse 68 asks, "Who is your Pookie Bear?"
Ah, Colton. Oh, buddy. Well, at showtime, it definitely has to be Colton. We room together and stuff like that. So he tried to come over to my room. I locked the door, thankfully.
Oh, smart man. This is not news to you then that this guy would be asking this question.
No.
Um, uh, Bev Wire says, "Can you have him tell us a little bit about his cats, please?" Meow.
So that Bev is actually so I did powerlifting for a while, and that is my old powerlifting training partner's wife.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, we just got two cats. We were at the gym one day, and we named him Gator, but this little cat just came up to Kaya. We had no animals at the time, and it's because we moved around a lot, and we're just so busy.
Right,
Like there's no way we could have a dog. We won't be able. It would be in boarding, three-fourths of the week. So this
right.
cat came up to us. It was a little like kitten, basically. It was like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and it just followed Kaya around. She's like, "Can we keep him?" And then she's gonna give him away. And then I was like, "No, let's keep him." Like she got so excited. I was like, "Let's just keep him. Like it's a cat. It can't be that hard. Like if something comes to happen, we know someone that'll take him." So I'm like, "Okay." So he's still with us, and then he kept fucking keeping us up, and specifically me, like terrorizing me in the middle of the night, man. So I was like, dude, we got to get this cat another cat. Like, we got to get a cat for the cat.
So
So
your
we
solution
got
was
we
more animals. That's what you thought would be the answer to that question.
Dude, it worked. It worked. A lot of
Really?
people that have cats told us, and we're like, yes, because they play with each other instead of us.
I
Like they
guess that
just
makes
like
sense. Yeah.
see the first thing that moves, and it's like attack. Well, now they play
Right.
with each other. So it was like, I don't know if you really know about cats or people listening do, but
I know.
like
I know everything about cats.
you can't just like throw them together. It's not like dogs. Like you can just kind of put them together and they're fine for 10 minutes. Like
Right.
cats, like you have to like lock in a separate room. You have to introduce them. Like I didn't know any of this. I never had like an indoor cat. We just had like barn cats. So like we kind of introduced them, kept them separate. But this was like a week before Shaw.
Right.
So so,
So
so
you introduced this new stress to your life a week before the biggest show of your competition.
so
Biggest show of
we
your
picked
life.
up Gator like 2 weeks before or 3 weeks before, and I'm like, dude, like he's not sleeping. I like felt bad. He's gonna be alone for a while. I was like, let's just get another cat. So a week before the show, we got another cat. And then we like kind of introduced them. Like thankfully it only took like for us, like some people say it takes like a month or two. It took like
Yeah,
4 days and they were like tolerant and then they were like fine, So by the time we got back, they were together and now we had somebody come over a couple times and it was great.
that's good. Gator's a good cat name.
Gator and then Teddy is the other one.
Teddy.
That's really
You like that
cute.
one?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so we got OSG coming up for you. We got looking a little further into the future. We have Strongest Man on Earth. Are you doing anything at the Arnold's this year?
I don't think so.
No?
I'm trying to. I don't get that much time off from work, where I'm working at right now. I only get like 2 weeks off a year, and like I used all of it this year for competing. I did 3 shows, so
Right.
especially going to the bigger shows, I'm going to probably use more PTO. So I'm not sure. Like as of right now, I have OSG, and then hopefully OSG goes well, and then I have a Giants Live or hopefully Worlds invite as well. If I do really well at OSG, there's depends who podiums, they're probably get invited to Worlds again, I would assume. And then
That
we have
seems
a
to be the
Giants
trend,
Live in
yeah.
the back pocket, so hopefully like that's my plan next year. If I can go to Worlds, Giants Live, and then SMO, like I'll be good.
Would you, if you could, let's say you could like pick your Giants live, are you a World Deadlift Championships kind of guy?
That would probably be the best one for me. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
especially if I don't know if they'll have it in Vegas again, but some of the athletes were saying like, hopefully I'm back in Vegas next year. I don't know if they signed something with the Orleans Arena out there
Mm.
and said like maybe like 2 3 years or something. They're gonna have it here. I'm not sure all the back end of that, but I noticed a lot of athletes were saying like, yeah, be back here next year or something. So if especially if it's in the States and it's the deadlift championship, it's like a no-brainer.
Easy peasy for you. All right, well, we're getting kind of towards the end here. We got something to say.
What?
You get something on
No.
your mind. What's going on with you today? All right,
Stop looking at me.
we're gonna start to wrap it up here with Josh. Um, Josh, where can people get a hold of you if they desperately need to?
Probably Instagram is probably the best. That's probably where I'm most responsive. At Spurgeon_Josh. And yeah, it's probably I haven't been posting too much. I've just been insanely busy. Work's supposed to slow down, but it went the opposite way and sped up. So I've really just been training, working, and trying to get to OSG.
Yeah, I mean, I like watching you like just straight up lifting stuff. Most of your shit. Sometimes it's fat guy on a bike. I like seeing that too. But it's always entertaining.
I appreciate
So
that.
make sure everybody gets ready to see this face, this handsome face right here, all over the international strongman scene next year, starting with Smo and ending with God knows where, because the sky's the limit for this young man. Josh Spurgeon, thanks so much for hanging out with us, man. We really do appreciate it. Thanks for answering the questions from their listeners, and we wish you nothing but the best in your strongman future and career.
Oh, anytime, seriously. Thank you for having me. I'm very honored. Thank you.
All right, there it is, Josh Spurgeon. Great guy, super easy to talk to, real friendly. Like he's not a guy where you can definitely tell that his what's coming for him is not getting to his head. He's just the same guy that we met in the airport at Atlanta before he had an amazing showing at the Arnold Amateurs there. Thanks very much for listening, guys. By the time you listen to this, we will be about to start. We'll be a couple hours away from starting Iron Claw, the grip competition here at Iron Age. If you guys feel like popping in to watch it, it's going to be going all day. We got lots of competitors. So it's going to be a really exciting a day of crushing grip strength. So if you want to see that, come on down. We've got Jose Morneau, world arm wrestling competitor. We got Ryan Espy, who's another world level arm wrestling competitor. We've got people from all walks of the strength community spectrum here to compete. So we're very, very excited for that one.
My nieces are coming, so bring cash.
Yes. We're going to be taking donations. The spectators can come in for free. If you don't have anything, don't throw it in there. But we will be taking donations for the Manitoba Brain Injury Association. And Gian's adorable little nieces will be down here, selling lemonade, having a little lemonade stand. So bring a little bit of cash in your pocket if you want to give something to the girls so they can give something to the Manitoba Brain Injury Association. So unless you have anything more for me, Jan?
I think that's it. Also, shout out to Josh Spurgeon for being an honorary Canadian.
Yes. Josh now joins the ranks of Western Canada, one of Western Canada's favorite pro strongmen. He's up there with Wes and Tristan and other honorary ones like Lucas Hatton, because he is now a part of the Iron Age Radio family. So remember that when you're watching him at Strongest Man on Earth, it'll be the Canadians and then the almost Canadian Josh Spurgeon. Thanks for listening, guys. We appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week where we will be talking the Rogue.
Yeah, and the Iron Claw.
And Iron Claw. Lots
with
to cover
James
next time.
Tyler Jeffers himself.
With that's what the exciting part is.
Yeah.
Is that we'll have another guest tomorrow or next week. And the biggest one of all, the biggest celebrity we could possibly muster, James Tyler, the Train Jeffers.
And
See you
Keelan.
then. And Keelan. See you then.
Bye.
You already started? Check this shit out, bro. I got vacuum therapy yesterday. So it's like cupping, but super aggressive.
Holy shit, dude.
Hold on, I have headphones on.
Damn.
Show
Hold on,
Dan.
Dan's here too. He wants to see too.
Oh, what the fuck?
He tried to suck himself off with a vacuum and he missed, and he got it all over his back instead.
I'm not
I'm,
surprised.
I'm telling everybody that guy pushed me out of the car.
Whatever you.
Oh my god.
That's amazing.
I feel better
Well,
though, actually, but it feels like shit.
It felt like shit while you were doing it?
It's honestly one of the most painful things I've done.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that shit.
What was he doing?
Like they had tattoos and they told me tattoos were way easier.
Oriental massage.
Really?
Happy ending.
Well, from how
Yeah,
that
they
worked
said
out,
they said that if I could handle that, then I could get a tattoo, like no problem. It's like just constant. Actually, like it sucks right away, but it's like an hour-long session. It only gets like worse. It doesn't get better. Like you only get like more sensitive.
sensitive boy, hey.
What was that from?
He got sucked off by a vacuum cleaner.
And it's basically cupping, but it's hooked up to like a pressurized machine.
Oh,
So
yeah. So you actually didn't get sucked off by a vacuum.
Yeah.
a little
Yeah,
bit.
hold on,